Hey everyone, thanks for joining me today. So this is episode 3 of the Great Whoopie Pie Recipe Quest. And this recipe is from a York County cookbook. And if you don't know, York County neighbors Lancaster County. But let's get to it. First thing I want to tell you is that I have my 14-year-old son helping me, which is a small miracle. But he did help me for some of the time, and that was really fun. And really the funniest part of this video was something he did, which you will see later on when he's mixing, and I'll point it out because it's such a representation of teenagers today. There is definitely some differences between this recipe and my grandma's, which was my favorite and still is my favorite, and I'm going to get into all that. So first I'm going to tell you how it tasted different than the last recipe, which I loved. Then I'm going to tell you kind of why I think it tasted different. The one thing I really liked about this recipe was the texture of the chocolate. It was done really well. It was kind of a little bit airy on the inside, but still chewy and moist. It was really good texture of the pie. And I can't help but wonder if that had to do with letting the batter rest for 30 minutes, because that usually thickens up batter. So I'm going to try that, I think, again on another recipe to see if it makes a difference. All right, here's this moment with my teenager. He's pretty talented. I mean, you know, you take what you can get. I did not like this icing. It was more of a milk-based icing and not, there was no powdered sugar in this. It was granulated sugar and a lot less of it. So it made a smaller batch and it was great. I could taste the granules. I didn't like that. I like a fluffier, thicker icing, and it was not fluffy and it was not thick, and it really wasn't even as sweet. So not such a great icing. I will not be making that again. Also, the chocolate flavor was not strong. It was a very mild chocolate flavor. I didn't like it as much. I like a stronger chocolate flavor, and it was not a rich chocolate flavor, so that's kind of a negative for me too. So here's the ingredient difference between this recipe and my grandma's recipe. First difference was that this called for a cup of oil instead of a cup of shortening. Also, this called for 2 cups of brown sugar instead of 2 cups of sugar. And then I think one of the biggest differences was that my other recipe, my grandma's, called for buttermilk, and this just had regular milk. Also, the amount of cocoa was different. In this recipe, it was 8 tablespoons. In my grandma's, it was a whole cup. So I think that stronger chocolate flavor was definitely from having more cocoa. But also, the buttermilk and the shortening, I'm convinced, also made a huge difference in the flavor. I am not going to publish this recipe because it's from a cookbook and copyright claims and all that. But really, you don't need this one because my grandma's is way better. So go back to episode 2 and get that recipe if you want to make them. And let me know if you do. I want to hear if you're making these whoopie pies and what you think. I hope you enjoyed this comparison video between recipes 2 and 3. I totally think that 2 is still the winner. But like I said, it was actually very educational to try this recipe because it was a little different, and then I could kind of see what works best. There's one more, I think, regular chocolate recipe I want to try. Is more of a New England style recipe, so there's the one big difference that you will find out soon. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and like and subscribe if you can, and I hope you enjoy your next baking adventure.